Well, okay. So that's a good recommendation. If you're sitting down with the CEO of one of your Fortune 100 companies and you said to them, okay, you want to stop a certain percentage of this, teach your employees blank.
Yes. So every organization, I don't care. It doesn't have to be Fortune 100. You could be three people in an organization. Everybody should go through cybersecurity awareness training. Every organization should do things like fish their employees. And it's not a slap you down gotcha moment. It's a teaching collaborative. We're all in this together. Nobody wants to get this corporation ripped off, by simply making a mistake by talking to the wrong person or clicking the wrong link. And so training is one of those things. And when I'm talking about cyber defense strategies, the two core things I talk about before I actually get to like the antivirus and the firewalls and all those kinds of things, which is data security, I talk about one, awareness and training. Because I like to say I can build you a Ferrari's worth of a defense, but if we're turning the keys of the Ferrari over to a chimpanzee, how far are we going to get? Right? We have to learn how to drive. And so that is one of those core things, awareness training. And the second one is asset management. If you cannot identify all of your technological assets, then how do you know they're being updated? How do you know they're secure? How do you know half of them haven't been stolen by your employees or simply by somebody walking into your
Mm,
building? Those are two critical things that are table stakes for cybersecurity. And the whole thing basically is buttressed, if I'm talking to a large CEO, by the risk to the organization. How does the organization quantify risk against their growth strategy? How much risk are they willing to take? Can you be down for 6 hours and it's economically so unviable for the company, or can marketing be down for a week and nobody cares? If you can't answer these questions as a corporation, then how do you know your contingency plans, your backups, all of that stuff can speak to the actual risk you have in hard and soft dollars?
wow, that must take a lot of time because I'm sitting there trying to, as you're asking those questions, I'm thinking about my small company. I mean,
Mhm.
how long could I be down without the marketing arm?
Right.
How long? And so then what's
Well,
my
well,
backup plan going to be in
what
case
about
of
your what
anything?
about your computers? I mean, imagine not being able to email, not being able to send out a message, not being able to send out an invoice, receive
Yeah.
money. How long can you go, until that's just unviable? Or people are thinking, Glenn's not getting back to me. Screw that guy. He must not care, and move on, right? Not to mention
Right.
the fact you're going to have to tell everybody at some point, yeah, I got your data breached, and how many of them are going to want to stick around with you? You know,
Yes, that's yeah. Yeah, you look at some
reputation.
of these companies that had that happen to them.
Right.
One thing I have another question, but you tripped off a question in my mind.
Yeah.
If I'm inside of a coffee shop or a public Wi-Fi, do VPNs really offer protection?
Yes and no. So here's the
Okay.
thing. You can go watch, there's a commercial, I won't mention the brand, where they're like, well, I can sit in a coffee shop all day because I've got this VPN. And that is half the battle. And the reason being is that what a VPN does is as you're sending data from, let's say, your phone or your laptop out to the internet, you're actually wrapping it an extra layer of encryption. So above and beyond, let's say, that green lock that you've got, when you're going to your bank or wherever, you're actually doing a second layer. So if I'm running a man in the middle attack, meaning your data is passing through my stuff and I'm capturing it, all I'm doing is capturing encrypted data that I'm not going to bother trying to crack. But because you are sharing a wireless infrastructure with other people in the coffee shop, whoever's connecting to it, your device is still on that network. Meaning, if I'm able to probe and attack your device because we're on the same network, so our two devices can communicate. If I'm able to get an infection, let's say, onto your phone where I can capture
Oh, okay.
information, then your
Mm.
VPN is useless to me because I'm getting it before it's even being sent. Or when you're receiving it, I'm seeing it even though you have an encrypted pipe. So a VPN is not a firewall. That's half the battle. For that, I recommend everybody get a VPN in their life, whether it's corporate or personal, and pay for it, because there's a lot of horrible free ones out there that are run by like intelligence operations, which we just recently learned, or they're data mining you, like Facebook's VPN, which got pulled from the Apple Store for doing exactly that, violating privacy. So
Yeah.
make sure you're getting a good one. But yeah, that's half the battle. And I always have a VPN on, but I never connect to public Wi-Fi. We're surrounded by cellular connections. You pick your company, right? AT&T, Verizon, whoever, they're out there, and it's much more safe just to stay on there. You can stream Netflix through it all day, which means you can easily answer email or check social media, or, here on LinkedIn, whatever you're doing using your 4G or now 5G connection, and you never need to connect to Wi-Fi really, except if you're incredibly remote.